Hello, and welcome to Earth Echoes with Amber Fields. This morning I would like to read a piece by Jason Gray titled Living Oath of the Free. I stand as a sovereign being, not by decree, nor by inheritance, but by the eternal truth that no one owns me. I am the keeper of my conscience, the guardian of my will, and the steward of my life. I take no chains, visible or hidden, as binding upon my soul. I recognize no authority higher than truth itself, no law greater than justice, and no command more sacred than the flame of compassion. In this spirit, I bind myself to the 7 sovereign principles, not as rules imposed from without, but as living compasses within, guides to walk upright in the world, unbroken, unbowed, and unafraid. The living code of the free, the flame of compassion. To be sovereign is not to be cold, detached, or untouched by the needs of others. It is to recognize the living thread that connects all beings, the silent pulse of life shared between the hawk in flight, the elder in pain, the child in laughter, and even the one who opposes you. Act with compassion and empathy, but temper them with clarity of reason, so that kindness serves truth rather than illusion. Compassion without discernment can enable harm, just as reason without compassion can breed cruelty. Let your care be wise, deliberate, and free from the chains of self-sacrifice that destroy the self. True compassion empowers both the giver and the receiver. It does not enslave either. The eternal pursuit of justice. Justice is not an endpoint to be reached and preserved like a trophy. It is a living current, always moving, always requiring vigilance. Laws and institutions can be noble tools, but they are not the source of justice. They are only its servants. When systems fail, when the written word betrays the living truth, the sovereign stands in defiance of the false order. To remain silent in the face of injustice is to side with the oppressor. To act, even against the weight of law, when that law upholds oppression, is not rebellion. It is fidelity to the higher law written into the soul of humanity. Justice is the bridge between compassion and truth, and it demands courage every single day. Sovereignty of the self. Your body is the vessel of your will, the sacred ground upon which no other has rightful claim. No ruler, no council, no collective belief can lay legitimate ownership upon it. To surrender your body to another's control is to surrender the first line of your freedom. Sovereignty of the self means more than resisting physical violation. It means rejecting all attempts to override your will through manipulation, coercion, or fear. It means treating your own vessel with honor, care, and conscious choice, recognizing it as the living temple through which your soul interacts with the world. Guard it. Direct it. Let no one dictate its course. Freedom as a sacred trust. Freedom is not given by rulers nor granted by institutions. It is an inheritance of existence, but one that dies if neglected. Your freedom is meaningless if you defend it only for yourself. To honor freedom is to defend it for all, including those who speak words that unsettle you, ideas that oppose you, or truths that expose you. If you strip freedom from another because it offends you, you hand over your own in the same breath. This is the paradox of liberty. That is the truest test, that its truest test is in how you uphold it for those you most disagree with. Freedom kept only for the agreeable is not freedom at all. Alignment with truth. Belief is not a shelter for comfort. It is a pursuit of reality, however challenging. To believe only what pleases you is to blind yourself willingly. The sovereign aligns their world view with the best understanding available, whether through the disciplined lens of science, the deep seeing of reason, or the direct knowing of experience. Knowledge is never fixed. What is true today may be refined tomorrow. The sovereign adapts not by betraying their convictions, but by letting those convictions evolve in the light of greater truth. Beware the temptation to twist facts to fit ideology. Truth must shape belief. Belief must never distort truth. The courage to correct. Perfection is not the measure of sovereignty. Integrity is. To live is to err is to be given the chance to repair. When wrong is done, whether by ignorance or intent, the sovereign faces it without evasion. The path to repair is not simply apology, but active restoration, seeking to mend the harm done in tangible ways. Pride will resist this, but pride is a false friend to truth. The courage to correct is the courage to grow, and the refusal to correct is the slow death of honor. The spirit above the letter. No principle, however pure, is eternal if held in rigid form. The written and spoken word are maps, not the terrain. They point toward truth, but they are not truth itself. When the letter of a law or tenet comes into conflict with compassion, wisdom, and justice, it is the spirit of those virtues that must prevail. To follow a principle blindly, even when it wounds the very values it was meant to serve, is to betray its origin. The sovereign keeps their loyalty to the living essence of truth, not to fossilized words that once described it. These principles are not chains. They are wings. They are not walls. They are pathways. I will live them not in perfection, but in practice, not as monuments of stone, but as living fire. If I falter, I will rise. If I am challenged, I will stand. If I am tested, I will remain true. I am sovereign, and I will not be owned. Jason Gray. The truth in those words is just so profound and beautiful. And I think that since 2020, those truths have taken on a much more urgent meaning in our world and are important for us to study and to try to consciously live, because truths are being twisted, and compassion is being used against us in manipulative ways. And so I think it's so important to really study the truth and figure it out and remain true to yourself and true to this world, true to humanity, true to nature, true to everything that is real. And that's part of why I've chosen to live off-grid, is because the madness of the world seems so false, and living away from it is a way that I'm able to really keep a firm hold on reality. So today, I hope that you stand as a sovereign and do what you can to spread the truth. Thank you.